Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. She's amazing. She's amazing. Well, good morning, everyone. And before I get started, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about St. Patrick. So I looked him up since I wasn't wearing green, so we could say a little something, something. So St. Patrick was actually born in Great Britain. And at the age of 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders. And they came in and they stole him and they took him to Ireland, where he was sold to a Celtic priest. And he was a slave to him for 6 years until he escaped. Then he escaped and went back home to Britain and studied, and he came back to Ireland to teach Christianity. And, you know, the myth about how he got rid of all the snakes in Ireland, there were no snakes in Ireland. And the little leprechauns, you know, they were little fairies. You know, I don't know about these little fairies. I love the idea of little fairies. My dad was from Maui, and they had little minahunis that ran around. They were their fairies. And then I know I went to Peru, and they had little fairies there, too, they talked about. So I'd love to see one of these. Probably would scare me. But anyway, and so St. Patrick was actually never canonized by the Catholic Church as a saint. But they have a cathedral. He's buried there. And that's kind of all I know. Oh, and then the shamrock, of course, remember how lucky it is to find a 4-leaf? But he used the shamrock because it had 3 leaves, and that represented the Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or whatever. I don't remember it. I'm a Catholic, but I think that was it. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that before I got into my talk. So last week when Dr. Joe was here, he kind of got into my talk. I pretty much had it all done, but I thought, well, he just touched on it. I'm going to go deeper into it. So it was religion versus spirituality. You've probably seen it all over Facebook. That's where I got it from. But I thought it was something good to kind of go, what is the difference? What is religion versus spirituality? So, and before we go any further, I want you to know that I'm wearing all black today because it's the only turtleneck I have. And because, look at my neck, I don't want rumors. See my hickey? I didn't want rumors going around if it slips down. Did you see Dr. Laura's neck? She is a wild woman. No. I am wild, but not that way. Anyway, so what happened was, just so you know, so there's no wondering, I go to an acupuncturist every other week. And this week she said, Laura, how are you feeling? And I said, I'm feeling good, except I've got this like phlegmy throat. I said, I think all of this dust we've had and stuff. She said, I'll take care of it. I said, okay. So she stuck 2 needles in my neck. Now, this one she did have some trouble with. This one got in pretty easily. And then she puts these electric charges. Anyway, I came out of there and I got in my car and I go, God, my throat. And I felt like a lump, and there was this lump and a little bruise. Well, now it's like a huge bruise. So I'll have it for a few weeks. So if you see it, don't worry, that's what's going on. Anyway, moving on to your lesson. Religion versus spirituality. I thought this was something good, especially for those of you who are maybe new to the center, wanting to know what this is all about. Okay, so what's your BS? That's my talk today. What's your belief system? That's what the I got to get a little snarky in there, right? Okay. So what's your belief system? What do you believe in? So, religion worships God. Spiritual encourages oneness with God. We don't believe, and I've talked about this before, about some being living up in the heavens, sitting there looking down on us, something that we need to be afraid of. We believe that we are one. We are one with that divine spirit. Each one of us here is our unique expression. In fact, I went to Michael's yesterday. I went to Hobby Lobby. I went to Target. I was looking for a puzzle of the world or of a heart. because I wanted you each to take your unique piece, because we do form that divine. Each one of us is part of the whole. We are all connected in the whole globe, the whole universe. And so we believe that we are the oneness. We are one with that divine spirit. Our soul is that divine spirit. God is outside of you. No, God is within you. You look in everybody's eyes, and that is the divine looking back at you. Everybody you see is that divine. We are all one. That is that divine energy. So God is within you. If you have something that's going on, just hold your heart and touch that feeling and knowing of who you are, the power that you possess to create your life. There isn't anything that you cannot do because you are the divine. Religion separates people who have different beliefs. Spiritual unites people regardless of their beliefs. When you walk in this room, don't you just feel that love? Just think if everybody in the world felt that love. You know, I have a brother who I don't have anymore. I don't see him. His choice, not mine. When he got married, he became a born again. We were raised Catholic. He became a born again. And he was here when Reverend Patty was here, and I was installed as a staff minister here. And he mocked it. Oh, you call yourself a minister. What do you believe, you know? And I remember going to lunch with him one day and saying, well, Jimmy, what do you believe? He said, I believe in the Bible. And I go, well, which version? There's 200 and some versions of it. Which version do you believe? And he always mocked that, but that's not why we separated. But that was a good part of it. And I love him, and I will always love him, and I honor his choice not to be with me. I'm probably just not Christian enough for him. But I love our spirituality because it does unite. And you don't have to give up your beliefs. I'm not telling you. I know that there are people here and I apologize to our Jewish people. I don't know much about your faith, so I can't really talk about that. But I was raised Catholic. And so, but there are people that if you don't believe the way I believe, then they don't want anything to do with you, because you're a sinner, you're a heathen, or whatever they think. But in spirituality, because we know we're all one, we accept each other, we love each other, we see the divine in each other. And then religion teaches people to be afraid of hell. I was terrified when I was young about that, about going to hell. It was oh God, I better not do that. I don't want to burn. And, and I did. I thought it was some kind of demon like that, Well, this is a living hell. If you live a certain way, you can create your own hell here in heaven, if you so choose. And so that was it. And even growing up, and I've shared this before, being, that I might go to hell, this was really awful. When Ryan was born, my husband and I did not get married. We were heathens. We did not get married in the Catholic Church. We eloped and got married. But then when Ryan came, because of my Catholic upbringing, I remember I went over to Sacred Heart and registered to have him baptized. And I had my very Catholic family there. I had an aunt that was visiting from the Philippines, and she was here. And Bill and I, my husband and I, show up at the church to get Ryan baptized. And the priest looks at the record and says, well, you weren't married in the Catholic Church. I can't baptize your baby. I said, what? Just like what you said. And I said, well, wait a minute. Regardless, maybe Bill and I didn't do the right thing, but isn't a baptism about saving the soul, protecting the soul of this innocent child? And you're not going to baptize him? I said, it would have been nice if you would have told me before I had my whole family come here, And he said, all right, I'll do it, but you guys better come in here and get married. And I go, yeah. So we baptized him. Then, and then in fact, Ryan went to Catholic school. Well, I had Corey, who was born 2.5 years after Ryan, and I did not go back to that church. And Bill and I didn't get married, but Bill and I was going to St. Teresa's in Palm Springs because that's where Ryan had been going to school. But I had Corey coming up. And I became very good friends with Monsignor McGinn over there. In fact, he married my sister and my brother-in-law, and I really loved him. He was really wonderful. I mainly went to Mass because Ryan went to school there. But now I have Corey coming up, and I know when he goes to the school, they're going to have Holy Communion. He hasn't been baptized and all that. All these rules you have to follow. And so I went to Father McGinn. He was so sweet. And I told him my dilemma, what had happened with Ryan. And so he said, what are you doing Saturday? And he said, bring Corey in. I'll marry you and Bill real fast and baptize him. And he did. He did that. And then 6 months later, I left my husband. And I said to Father McGinn, I said, it's all your fault. I was married happily for 21 years. I get married in the church, and look what happens. And that was our joke. But anyway, people, we don't believe in hell. We believe you, as spiritual people, you create your own hell in your life. Spirituality teaches people to create heaven on earth. That's what we come here for. We come here, we hold those little babies in our hands that are so precious. We have the loved ones in our life that are so adorable and that they only came from that divine. Each one of us is that. And so you can either create heaven here or you can create hell. I vote for heaven. Everybody? Thank you. All right. So religion is based on fear and restriction, like Ryan's baptism. It was that fear and restriction. Growing up, we weren't even allowed to go into another faith's church, synagogue, or anything. That was a sin. Everything, what I love about spirituality versus religion, and that's fine if you go and it feeds your soul. That's where you should go. I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but I'm just saying how this works for me. But the idea that there's this, that if I missed Mass and I died before I went to confession, I would go to hell for eternity. Okay? You can't miss Mass or you go to hell. And I just, as I grew up, I said, what a way to control people. I had people here that have gotten a little irritated and said, Dr. Laura, I haven't been in church for weeks, and you didn't even check on me. I go, we're not like a Catholic church. God is everywhere. I'm just assuming wherever you are, you're enjoying your life and you're with God. You're in that energy of that oneness, but don't do it, you go to hell. Don't eat fish on Friday if you live in the United States, but it's okay in the Philippines. So there's these restrictions there in some faiths, and I only know my Catholicism. And please don't get it wrong that I hated growing up a Catholic. I really loved the Blessed Virgin Mary. I loved Jesus. God wasn't so sure about, but I thought Jesus was all about love, and the Blessed Virgin, I loved her. I loved what she symbolized. Spirituality is based on love and freedom. That's why we're free. We're free to go wherever we want. We're free to believe whatever we want. We have a power within us that is so we don't use it enough. We don't connect with it enough. That's why you come here on Sunday, to remember who you are, to remember you are that love. You are so important. I always say we're not here by accident. We're here on this planet right now because the world needs this love. Each one of you leave here, you're like these little starlets that go out into the world, shining your light. impacting people. And religion feels like a single drop in the ocean, whereas spirituality feels like being the entire ocean in a single drop. That was the closest picture I could find. But I thought, well, that was good. It showed the single drop, the whole globe. And so that's how connected we are. And I think that is wonderful. We are connected to the whole, to the everything, to every life, every citizen in the world. We are part of this citizenship of the globe. And religion is based on others' experiences, you know. If you've studied anything at all, the religions and so forth, we find out that really it was written by man. You know, we have go back to ancient times, and they really teach you how we got here and the history behind how we got here. Anyway, I don't want to go in there because it's pretty woo-woo, but I love woo-woo. And if you like woo-woo, I'd say look up some different people. Bobby Carson is really good. And anyway, but there's, you know, Greg Braden talks about how the ancient times, the pyramids, and how we really came, and how man manipulated the teachings, you know. And like I shared a couple Sundays ago, I just couldn't buy this story of Adam and Eve, how God, you know, God created man and then took a rib and okay, maybe, you know, maybe that happened. But then you create this magnificent planet, and they're in this fabulous garden here, and you're told not to eat an apple, and you eat an apple. And now you're condemned for eternity for eating a friggin' apple. I mean, does that even make sense to you? I mean, really, think about that, you know. And, okay, this is going to be snarky, and men, I don't mean to offend you, but it's like, since we ate that damn apple, men have never forgiven us. That wasn't nice. I'm sorry. I love you, men. You're here for the first time. Don't take this personal. Okay.
I love you, and I love being here.
Oh, yay. Thank you. What's your name?
Don Winter.
Don Winter. Welcome. Welcome home, Don.
Thank you. I feel like home.
Anyway, I just had to say that. I'm sorry. Oh, look, guys are leaving now. No. Okay. Okay. And spirituality is based on your own personal experience. For any mother or even father, when you've held your baby for the first time, how could you ever banish them for something, for anything? You love that child forever. They may disappoint you. They might tick you off, you know, but there will always be that soul connection with your child. So anyway, we, you know, our own personal experience is what spirituality is. When you get up here and you wake up this time of the year with the snow on the mountains, I mean, this is heaven on earth. It might feel like hell in July and August, but it's heaven on earth. Right? So what's your BS? What's your belief system? And you might like a little bit of both. But I had a big for me this week. Something really, I'll say ticked me off, but you know what word I'm thinking. And it really ticked me off that happened last week. And I'm telling you, if steam could have come out of my ears, it would have, and it may have. And I was really, really upset and let it all out. And then after I got it off my chest, I thought about it. And what I realized is I felt like this person had slighted me, had really just kind of disrespected me. And then what I realized, really thinking about it, meditating on it, what I realized was I was coming from ego, not my soul. not my soul. And it changed the whole perspective of it. It's like, so my suggestion is, before you let off steam like I did, go within and come from your soul. Does that really, how can another human being, something they say or don't do, how can it harm me? I am the divine. It can only harm me or hurt me or irritate me if I let it. So, whatever BS works for you, and what I mean by that is you might take a little spirituality, you might use your spirituality in your other religion. Whatever works for you that makes you blossom and just feel like you are connected to everything. You are all powerful. You are the divine. Then what you're always doing really is choosing love. So choose love over anger, separation, anything. Love is the power that holds this world together and that changes this world. You can't help it if other people might not feel it, but don't let it take away from you. Don't let them sap that love from you, that light, that energy that each one of you carries. I'm looking forward to the Sunday we come in here and this roof explodes with all this love. No, not really. But anyway, Dr. Tom was called Dr. Love. And for me, that's what's the seed that was planted here on this property. Right, Reverend Patty? Right? Reverend Sheila, I think I saw you in here. There you are. Yes, these were great teachers that were here when I got here. And so I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed for this center and for each of you that comes here and brings your light and then takes it out in this world that so needs your life. And so ends your lesson. Namaste.